Love in America is brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source.
The Gold and Diamond Source has been in business for nearly 4 decades and is one of the largest family-owned jewelry stores in America.
We have the largest selection of white and fancy colored diamonds and gemstones you'll find anywhere.
We also have private areas for VIP viewings.
Only at the Gold and Diamond Source.
Everyone has a story to tell. It's my mission to tell it. Unscripted, unedited. We are on the record.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarina Fazan, a journalist, producer, and the host of On the Record, and a lover of all things. You know, we have a lot of sub-series now. Love in America being my absolute favorite show. Thank you for joining me. And boy, have I wanted to introduce this couple forever. Roger and Dottie Skipper, thank you so much for joining us here for the Love in America series. It's so great to have you both.
It's great to be here.
So Dottie and I actually met at a business lunch, and we were talking business. I said, but you know, Dottie, before we get into business, tell me your love story. And what a love story. Oh my gosh, you guys are high school sweethearts, and then, but joined together again after 31 years.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, let's begin with the fairy tale. Dottie, you start.
Well, I guess we can start from the very beginning. It was on a blind date. I was only 14 years old, and Roger's friend Mike was going on a date. He wanted to take his girlfriend out to Lithia Springs to go swimming, but her mother wouldn't let her go unless a group went. So Trina reached out to me after Roger reached out to Mike. Mike reached out to Roger, I'm sorry, to say, can you go with us because I want to be with Trina, and she can't go unless we have a group to go. So anyway, Trina reached out to me to go. They came to pick me up, the three of them, and I'll let Roger take it from there. I think his memory of it might be a little better than mine.
And before Roger picks it up, I want to say, first of all, at 14 years old, right, we're surprised that your mom
I'm very surprised,
said,
Mom.
okay, you could go on a date.
Yes. Well, it was a group outing.
Yes, a group outing.
A
group outing.
Right.
And with Roger, though, this is hilarious because we were talking before the show started. You're doing this as often guys do, as a favor to a friend.
Yes. Mike really wanted me to do this because he really wanted to take Trina swimming, and the deal was we'll get there and we'll separate and then meet up later. And life lessons has always told me that blind dates generally don't turn out well. So I begrudgingly did it because he was my friend. He had a car and I didn't, so I wanted to keep him in good graces.
Because you were 16 at the time, right? Because you're
almost 16.
Almost 16. Okay, almost 16.
And so we pulled up in Dottie's driveway. When she walked out the door, it was just like, this is it?
No. Oh my. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, first of all, when we talk about blind dates, as you guys know, a couple of weeks ago, I had a couple as well that met on a blind date, and they planned their entire wedding that night, the Blackburns. I would encourage people to watch that episode. But are you kidding? So at almost 16, you're not even 16, she walks out, and you know, they say guys know immediately.
Apparently so.
Yeah. She was. I was stunned. And
Really?
I'm like. And it just went from there.
So Dottie, what were you thinking when you saw Roger?
I got in the car because nobody came to the door to get me. Maybe Trina did.
I think Trina did.
Because it wasn't a date.
It was an outing.
It was an outing.
It was an outing.
And I got into the car and into the back seat, and I looked over and I thought, wow, this guy is really cute.
Yeah, and the back seat is like that far. It was a Volkswagen Bug.
And I thought, he's really quite handsome. And I thought, well, this won't be so bad after all.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so then what happened? I think we have to find out, though. Did Mike and Trina ever stay together? Do we not know?
No, they did not.
No, they did not.
They did not.
They separated after, they got married.
Yeah.
Oh, they got married.
They did get married,
Mike,
a few years later.
Mike went into the Air Force, and during his military career, they separated and divorced, and she moved back to Brandon Mango area while he finished his career.
Yeah.
In the Air Force.
Yeah.
Well, we usually I wait and then I ask that at the very end.
Right.
But I'm like, I'm too curious. I need to know because we're talking about Mike and Trina so much that I have to know. I have to know.
Right.
Okay, but with you two, all right. So you go on this outing,
right.
and then what happens after that?
Gosh, I guess you started calling, and I couldn't go out. I mean, I was only 14, but Roger would come over to the house all the time. My parents loved him. You know, he would come over and watch football games with my dad, and I think my dad even let him drink a beer or two at my house, which was big for my father. I grew up Southern Baptist, so that was really a big deal. But then we started dating as I got older, and we dated on and off in high school. But then Roger had to move back to Tallahassee, so he didn't actually graduate from Brandon High School with me. He graduated a year earlier in Tallahassee.
2 years earlier.
2 years earlier. But we stayed in touch, and then I graduated and went off to college, Mercer University in Macon, Georgia. He went into the military, to the Air Force.
Thank you so much for your service.
Yeah,
20 years. And he decided he wanted to come visit me from Texas. He drove all the way from Texas to Podunk, Macon, Georgia to visit me. And
Now, before you say, about how many years had you guys been dating now, would you say? Because how old were you at this point?
About 5 years.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
18,
Okay,
19,
about 5 years, okay.
going to college. And I decided he came to visit me, and I ended up breaking up with him that night because I thought, he's going that way, I'm going this way, we need our freedom. But little did I know.
Oh, I know. Okay, go ahead.
That he was going to propose to me that night. And on his way back to, I guess it was boot camp,
San Antonio.
he threw my engagement ring in the Mississippi River, and I didn't know about it for 30 years, something like that. So,
Can we repeat that line again? He threw the ring, your engagement ring, into the... Oh,
Wasn't her engagement ring yet.
that's true.
That's true.
it was just a ring to him at that point, I think.
So, okay,
After that point, it was definitely just a ring.
so so here you are though, getting ready. Would you have gotten down on one knee and taken her hand and said, Dottie, will you marry me?
I would have picked a romantic moment that she tends to avoid, but
I did.
I would definitely would have picked the right time and the right atmosphere because I really wanted to marry her.
So when she broke up with you, were you just, what were the emotions? I mean, shocked, angry?
Oh, that was a terrible night. Not only did she break up with me on the verge of me asking her to marry her, but on the way back, taking her back to her dorm on Mercer on the campus, a drunk guy ran a red light, T-boned my car, put a big lump on my head and ran down the road. It wasn't even his car he was driving, it was his sister's car.
Oh my gosh.
I had to get back, my car was still drivable, I had to get out in and out of the passenger door. It's a stick shift with bucket seats and so it was fun. I had to get back to Texas to report back to duty, so I had to send now my ex-girlfriend in Georgia a power of attorney to act in my behalf in court because they caught the guy to settle the court case for me because the Air Force wouldn't release me because I was in a critical stage of training.
Oh my gosh.
So she had to be my advocate.
Oh my gosh. So the woman who broke your heart had to help you.
Yes. So
Yes, and I did.
that's why I
my
didn't
job.
take the ring back to the base exchange where I bought it. Now I'm an E1 Airman Basic. Didn't make very much money in those days, so that ring was 1 month's salary for me, and I could have very easily just took it back and got my money back, but her breaking up with me, the guy hit me in the car,
It was
just
blood
a terrible
money to
night. I had to
him.
drive basically 17 hours to get back to duty because I was running late getting back to duty. And by the time I got to the Mississippi River, I said, you know, this is just metal and stone. It means nothing. I don't even want to deal with it anymore. So I stopped in the middle of the bridge, got out, and threw it over the edge. Took off. That part of my life is over.
Wow.
And he didn't even let me know that. You know, even when I was representing him in court, He did not. I did not know that he was going to ask me to marry him.
Now, if you had known that at that time, do you think that may have changed your mind about breaking up?
You know,
with
that's
Roger?
a question I have asked myself for many years. I don't know. I did not realize that he was that serious about our relationship. I knew it was serious, but I didn't know he was really ready to take that next step. So I would like to say maybe yes, but I've not been able to answer that question.
Isn't that something? And
Yeah.
you know, but they say, but look how, you know, love has no time barriers, right?
That's true.
And it brought you guys together. So after that, both of you do get married to other people.
Correct.
So you
Yeah.
both get married to other people, and you live lives, you have kids. How many kids do you guys each have?
We have 7 between us. 3 are biologically mine and 4 are biologically his.
And how long were you guys married to your other spouses?
I was married, well, actually, I've been married twice before, 15 years each time.
Wow, 15
Yeah.
years each time. Well, 3 times the charm. I was talking to.
That's right,
I was
absolutely
talking
it is.
to a friend of mine on the way here, and he said too, like this, he is so madly. I said, you need to come on the show.
Yeah.
But you know, his love story is for another day.
I finally got it right, yeah.
And for you, Roger, like how long were you married?
27 years.
27 years. Okay, so let's go to a break, and then when we come back, we'll talk about how the two of you guys reconnected. And I guess, you know how people always complain about social media. Social media also has some really positive, really,
That's true.
right? Really,
That's
it can be
true.
very positive too. Okay,
That's
so
true.
stay with us and we'll be right back.
Thinking about getting engaged, planning to upgrade your wedding ring, or finally getting that Rolex?
The Golden Diamond Source can help you in many ways.
You can start a layaway plan for only 10% down and 6 monthly payments.
Take advantage of our 3 to 5 year interest-free financing.
Or you can trade in your old broken jewelry and use it towards a new purchase.
Come to the Golden Diamond Source and find that perfect gift for the ones that you love.
Gems with Them is our way to teach you about the birthstones and the different color gemstones each month represents.
Ruby is the birthstone of July, and when we think about red, we think about ruby.
A ruby is the most valuable gemstone, and its value increases based on the color and quality.
And ruby gets its vivid red color from the element chromium, which is where emeralds get their beautiful bright color as well.
It's a great gift to give someone you care about. Come to the Golden Diamond Source or visit us on social media to learn more about birthstones.
Okay, I'm back here with the Skippers. Your love story is remarkable. I mean, a true fairy tale, really. Brought back together after high school sweethearts, brought back together after 31 years. Now, you both had moved on with your lives, had been married, and now what happens next? Like Roger, you have been divorced, you said, for 2 years, right? At this point? Okay. And Dottie, you were...
I was in the middle of divorcing.
And
yes.
what were you thinking? You were never going to do this again?
Oh, no. I thought, you know, marriage just isn't working for me. There's no one out there that really can accept who I am and put up with me and be that person to support me in the things that I want to do. And I just said, I can do this all alone.
And then you get a message.
And then I get, back in the day, it was classmates.com instead of Facebook. So I was on classmates.com and I get a message, and I will turn it over to Roger at that point.
Well, I had been in conversation with my mom. My mom had always told me I had married the wrong person, that I should have pursued Dottie more than I actually did.
And didn't she tell you that too on your wedding night? Or
Yeah.
your wedding day?
On my wedding night, we were dancing. You know, mom
To
and
his
son
previous
danced.
wife,
My
yeah.
first marriage,
Yeah.
and she told me, she was crying, and she goes, I said, Mom, don't cry. And she says, I'm not crying because I'm happy for you. I'm crying because you married the wrong person.
Oh my God.
You should,
Can you believe
yeah, and I'm thinking, oh, you know, typical mom, you know, don't want to let go of her son, but she says, you should be marrying Dottie. And so anyway.
Yes, I have tears in my eyes too. Oh my gosh, okay.
Through the years, Mom and I talked. She kept some things for me, that mementos that I had from Dottie and I's relationship. hidden away.
Let's introduce the mementos.
Some of them.
Some of them.
Some of them.
This is a Bible that Dottie had left in the back seat of my car after, I think it was the Easter service?
Easter sunrise service at Camp Florida.
Right.
In Brandon.
The year that we eventually split.
And you threw the ring in the river, in the Mississippi River. I'm sorry.
Right.
That's just like,
And so I kept it all these years, gave it to my mom just for safekeeping. And in this picture is one that her little sister Amy drew for us. Amy was 3 or 4.
Yeah, Amy went everywhere with us, I
Had
think,
to.
because my parents thought that would keep Roger and I behaving if my 4-year-old sister was with us everywhere.
So
and for people who can't see, it says Roger, Dottie, I love you, Amy.
Amy. And on the back, it's got
My parents.
Amy's mom and dad, Bertie and Dottie's parents, picture on the back. So I think she was foretelling.
My little 4-year-old sister, who's now 50-something, yeah.
Oh my gosh. And okay, I want to note something that if we don't note it, I don't think we'd realize it. You had your mother keep this, as you said, for safekeeping, because out of respect that you knew it was special and that maybe your wife might get a little upset at the time.
It would not be safe. I remember when my former wife and I were dating, she found I had a picture of Dottie and I in the glove compartment of my car, and actually, Allie, I forgot it was in there, and she was going in my glove compartment looking for something. It's a picture of you and I at Cypress Gardens when we went with Pat and Ronnie that one time, and she found it, and she just literally sat there and tore it up and threw it on the floor. So I knew that anything else I had was in danger.
Right. So that's why the Bible and the artwork goes to his mom.
And a few other things. Yeah. But I made sure my mom kept them.
So you reach out to Dottie.
Classmates.
Yes.
Yes, I was classmates, but at that time, kind of like Facebook, but it was a good pond to go fishing in, so to speak. And but I knew that, if anything, I went up and looked in Brandon to see who at Brandon High School was members. And she was a member of classmate. You had to be a member. And
thank goodness you were a member.
Yeah.
So I said,
he would have found me anyway.
I'm going to roll the dice here, because as soon as I saw her name, actually there, and they had a picture, just the feeling started welling back up. So I emailed her and said, hey, I don't know if you remember me, but just want to check in and see how you're doing after all these years.
Oh my gosh. And so you're thinking, of course I remember you,
yes,
right?
I literally almost fell off the chair, from the computer desk. And all of these emotions started flooding through me too, like, oh my gosh, he really is the love of my life. I mean, I knew that. I just knew that the instant he contacted me. I really felt that this is the love of my life, and man, I'm amazed that he reached out to me and that we've reconnected, but I was going through a divorce, so I wanted to take things very slow. So we started emailing back and forth for a month or so, and then I got the courage to give him my phone number because my divorce was pretty much on its way being done. And then we started talking, and then 2 or 3 months later, I agreed to meet him for lunch. We met at Whiskey Joe's, the old Whiskey Joe's. It was by Rusty Pelicans quite a few years ago. He was living in Merritt Island. I was living here in Tampa. And we met for lunch. I pulled into the parking lot. I remember being so nervous. I was shaking like a leaf. And he knew what vehicle I was driving, so when I didn't come into the restaurant for a while, he actually called me. Do you remember what you said? Do you
I said, is this the point where I have to come drag you out of your car?
Or pry your hands off?
Pry your hands off the steering wheel, yeah.
Yes. So I finally got the nerve to go in, and I had a big bag with me of things that I had kept over the years, or my life, I guess, not necessarily regarding him, but just pictures of my kids, just my life in this bag. I walked into the restaurant and I see him. He stands up, and it was like, I was just mesmerized. I mean, it was like seeing Roger Skipper with long hippie hair, you know, back in the day, but now he's a man with, he had a little bit of hair.
I still have some.
But it was like surreal, you know, and just a flood of emotions. And we ended up having, it was like a 4-hour lunch, and we just couldn't stop talking and catching up on our life. And that's when he presented me with several things that he had kept over the years. There used to be a comic strip called Love Is, with a couple that they don't have on any clothes, but it's cartoonish, so it's, you know, it's appropriate.
It's G-rated.
Yes.
It's G-rated. Yeah.
But it's all these. So it was Love Is things that he had kept. A Valentine's book that he gave me when, I don't know how you ended up with it. Yeah, when I was a teenager, and it was just surreal.
And also the Bible.
And the Bible, yes.
And the Bible in the picture.
The Bible in the picture.
And he said, I've kept this Bible for 30, all these years, however long it was. Do you want it back? And I said, no, you've kept it all these years.
That your
Go
sister,
ahead and keep it, yeah. And the picture that my sister had drawn of us, gosh, when we were first dating.
Yeah.
So, Roger, when you saw Dottie again, what were you feeling?
I wanted back in our life desperately.
So you knew, and so you pretty much, and your mom certainly always knew that this was the woman for you.
Yes, yes.
And then after lunch, he walked me back out to I was driving a truck at the time, my woman's truck, as he called it, and we kissed goodbye. And
oh, wait. I asked you if I could kiss you.
Yes, you did. He's
Such
incredible
a gentleman
to this day. And I said yes, and sparks just started flying. It was just, again, very surreal. And I just knew that, you know, he was the one that I let get away.
Your soulmate.
Yeah, I knew that. But I kept waiting for the bubble to pop all these years afterwards, but we can talk about that later, I guess.
So the audience, I'm sure, is wondering when they watch this, when did you find out that he threw the ring into the Mississippi River? I always have to say that whole line because it's just so surprising.
Do you remember when you told me that? We'd been dating for a little while.
We've been dating. It wasn't until after I was sure that we're going to be exclusive, because I'm kind of a private person in a lot of things. So if somebody doesn't need to know something, I'm just simply not going to.
And here I am exposing it all, like, you know, and I keep on repeating the line.
That's okay. That's okay.
It was quite
I brought
some
him
time
out
later.
a little bit.
Probably about a year later.
Wow. Okay, so
Yeah.
a year later, when he tells you about the ring, did that just blow your mind away, for lack of a better term?
I kind of got mad. You know, like, why in the world didn't you tell me? You know, he goes, would that have changed your mind? And it's the same question. I don't know. But I thought, how can you not tell somebody that? You know? So I was a little mad at first, and then...
Well, you shouldn't have been. You're the one that rejected me.
I know. We've talked about
afterwards?
this. I know. We've talked about this before. But then I thought, oh my gosh, how amazing is that? And it just made me feel just so very special and just so very grateful.
Well, you guys are proof that, you know, when people say, and, you know, people roll their eyes when they say it, what's meant to be is meant to be.
Yes.
And if they're meant to be in your life, they're going to come back, or you guys will be, you know, when I say you guys, I'm talking people in general, right? It's meant to be. I mean, certainly the two of you are proof of that.
Yeah, I truly feel like it was God orchestrated. I think if he had come back in my life any sooner than he did, you know, I would have had some really hard questions and hard things to figure out, but I do believe it was God's perfect orchestration that brought us back together.
So that's so beautifully said too. Music, love, orchestrating, oh my gosh. So on February the 15th, you will celebrate 14 years of marriage? Or
13.
13 years of marriage.
13 years.
This February the 15th.
Yeah.
So, within the dating period of you guys getting back, how long did it take for you to propose again? And Roger,
Here we
how,
go.
how nervous were you proposing?
He will tell it like it really is, so go ahead.
We had been dating for about 4 years. And I decided, I don't want to live with, this is crazy.
And he was driving back and forth to Merritt Island all the time. It's a long haul.
I figured
4
I got to
years.
keep miles off my car. I might as well marry her because I'm going to have to get another car pretty quick. But after about 4 years, I decided, I was going to ask her to marry her. So we went to up to Georgia, the mountains in Georgia, north of Atlanta, for a little getaway 4-day period. So here's this little cabin on top of a mountain. It's snowing, nobody else around. We're sitting on the front porch, actually outside, wrapped up in blankets, having a little bit of bourbon, just enjoying the evening. And I said, this is perfect. I mean, how more romantic can you get? So I turned and looked at her, and I was just about to pop the question, and she looked me deep in the eye, and she goes, you know what? I love our relationship just the way it is.
Dottie! Oh my God!
So I said, okay.
I did.
I didn't ask her.
I did.
That's my answer. So another 8 months or so goes by, and we're on the
I'm crazy.
the Starship yacht dinner thing.
Okay, beautiful. Water.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
For Valentine's.
On Valentine's.
Okay.
On Valentine's.
And celebrating Valentine's and our reunion.
Right.
And so we go up on the fan deck, or the top back part of the ship. Nobody is there for some reason. It's a pretty packed crowd that night, but nobody else is there.
Okay.
We're in Tampa Bay, the lights are shining, and I said, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it again. So God's honest truth. I turned and looked at her, went to open my mouth, and she goes, I just love our relationship the way it is.
I did it again. And I don't know if I had a sense of what was going to happen, and I just it was freaking me out.
So
I
said, okay. That tells me I'm satisfied with what if this is what I get, this is what I want. I just want to be with her no matter what the ground rules are. So we're going to do it again. And then.
So I want people to hear that he was not going to propose again.
No,
He's tried twice. He's like, okay, and really the third time, because the first time, the ring gets tossed in the river. But anyway, okay.
So anyway, her best friend asked me why I hadn't asked her to marry her. And I said, because she doesn't want to get married. And I told her why. And then Dottie takes me to the Franciscan Center, and we're sitting by the river. And she gives me this note telling me how much she loves me and how we're predestined to be together and all this kind of stuff. And I'm reading, and I'm seeing, will you ask me to marry you? And I'm thinking, no.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding.
So in that letter you said, will you ask?
No. Just the way it was worded.
Okay.
And I even had him walk at the Franciscan Center. There's this labyrinth that you walk around, and I even had him do that. But that's
So anyway. I said, no, I'm not. No. There's no way. So finally, I decided I just couldn't. I just wanted to be. I wanted to be with her, and 24/7 instead of this transient relationship we were having. East Coast to West Coast all the time. And I even put in for a transfer from the East Coast to the West Coast. So I could live on this side. So finally I said, her friend got back with me and said, she really wants you to ask. And I said, I really don't know if I want to ask anymore. But I really did. So we go to the beach, and this was in October, before we got married. We go to the beach because we like going out watching the sunset.
Clearwater.
And so I'm going to ask her. So we get out on the beach, and we're sitting there, took our little chairs, and we're sitting there getting ready for the sunset. And sunset's like 3 or 4 minutes away.
Nobody on the beach.
Nobody on the beach. And all of a sudden, this group of high school there's a soccer tournament happening, come running out right behind us.
High school soccer players.
So I said, quick, we got to move. Because she goes, why? I go, because I want to get away from this kid. She goes, don't be a grouch. You're just being. I go, we're moving down the beach. So we moved down the beach before, because I wanted my plan was when the sun touched the water, that's when I was going to pop the question. And we got to go now. So it worked out. So when the sun touched the water, I asked her and she said yes.
Oh my gosh, okay, and is this the ring?
That is the ring,
Let's show everybody, finally!
Now, one point about that ring, yes. I didn't buy it until after she said yes.
That's true, yes, that's true.
This is also why I love this show. Like this, you did it.
There was no way I was going to buy another ring just to throw in the Gulf of Mexico or somewhere.
That's true. That's true.
Oh my gosh, that is such a beautiful, beautiful story. Oh my.
So we got married a few months later.
Yeah,
I
that's
guess.
October we got married.
And we used the Bible as to get married with.
The very
same Bible. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Now, was your mom here?
Yeah,
so you
my
guys
mom's
get here to see. Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
It was both of our parents, our mothers. Our dads had passed, but both of our mothers were so excited. They were just so excited and said, "This should have happened 30 some odd years ago."
And my mom had actually told me when I found out Dottie was getting married the first time, she goes, "You need," and my thoughts were, I was stationed in Michigan, up in Michigan, and I was going to drive down on her wedding day, and like in the movie, the door throws open, I was going to walk in and say, in my military dress, you know.
When they say, does anyone here that
you would have thrown the doors open?
Me. And my mom said, you should do that. But I said, no.
She doesn't go with me.
No, my thoughts were, this is the life she has chosen, and she's made her decision. So I lost, so I move on with my life.
You know, honestly, again, I've been telling everybody that I can. Like, I find these love stories are so amazing. And you're actually helping all of us live longer, because do you know every time you laugh so hard, you know, it adds 2 seconds to your life.
That's right.
And there's tears.
I know.
But there's the story about he wasn't even going to buy a ring until you said yes. I'm sure there are people just like in awe and laughing out loud. So wonderful to have you here. Before we wrap up the show, and I know we've gone a little bit longer, but I had to because your story is so amazing. What advice would you give to people out there seeking love? Dottie, we can start with you.
Oh my goodness. There's a lot of advice, but I think just truly loving the person that you're with, and oh gosh, I don't even know what advice. You
follow your heart. You know,
follow your heart.
My mom had a saying. If something is supposed to be, you'll know it in your knower. You know, you'll know it in your spirit. She always called her spirit her knower. You know, I know it in my knower that this is supposed to be, is her favorite phrase. And if you know that you're destined to be with somebody, don't let life get in your way or keep you from it. You know, work through the obstacles and make sure that you're with the person you spend. Don't spend years shoulda, coulda, woulda. You know, either go for it or shut it out of your life completely. That's the best. And show every day your appreciation of that person. You know, God has blessed me so much with her that I make sure that I show her constantly that I respect her and that I love her, that she is always first.
He does, and there has not been a day that has gone by since we first reconnected, that I have not had roses in the house. Even when he was working and out of town, he would get one of our sons to get roses to make sure I had roses in the house. So I guess just treating each other with utmost honor and respect, not saying anything bad, especially in public, about your spouse, because you always want to hold them up in honor, with honor and integrity.
That's exactly what Brian Auld with the Rays, you know, the president of the Rays.
Right,
you know, when I asked for his advice, as I ask all the couples, that's what he said as well. Yeah. So I love hearing all of these lessons. And Roger, we can end with the funny side. Don't get married after Valentine's Day. or during a holiday.
Yes.
No, my biggest advice is that don't get married near a holiday, especially Valentine's Day. I'm in a situation now to where Valentine's is on the 14th of February. We reconnected and got married on the 15th of February in honor of our reconnection day. And then her birthday's on the 22nd of February. So in 1 week, I've got
Party month.
Party month.
Party month for Dottie, most definitely.
Very expensive month for Roger.
But
I love it.
in practicality, the venues are hard to get. The travel expenses for family and friends are higher in the holiday periods. I know it's kind of romantic, oh, let's get married on Valentine's Day or let's get married on 4th of July or whatever. Don't do it. Because it's just so expensive. Just the logistics are just raised by at least 50-60% of your costs.
Well, you guys are absolutely adorable. And did you have fun on the show?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Do you think it brings back like romance?
Oh, and you have fun. You're having fun now, right?
Yeah, right. So a lot of men trepidate and they're like, we don't know. But every single person has said that they do really enjoy being on the show because it reminds them of their romance. And this is the first time I'm doing this. That's why I encourage the audience, if they have a love story that they want to share, please reach out to us. And we show this graphic of where you can find me because I'm all over the place. You can find me at any of these places, and you can Google and you can find a way to find me. And we'd love for you to share this story because these are the type of stories, and we're going through so much in this world right now, and everybody could use a dose of love.
Absolutely.
It fills our heart.
Yes. Thank you for having us on. It has been so much fun, Sarina. You are amazing, and you make it easy. She made it easy, right?
Love you guys. Thank you guys so much again for watching, and stay safe.
Gems with Them is our way to teach you about the birthstones and the different color gemstones each month represents.
Ruby is the birthstone of July.
And its value increases based on the color and quality. Come to the Gold and Diamond Source or visit us on social media to learn more about birthstones.